Hello, I'm Nicole Carson Bonilla and I'm a portrait photographer. In this video, I'm going to show you how I styled, photographed, and edited a fine art ballet photo shoot of 11-year-old Carlin. Now, not only is she overflowing with grace and charm, but she also has the most adorable giggle and she's an extremely talented athlete. But before we go any further, please do me a quick favor and click the like and subscribe buttons below. Goodwill is one of my favorite places to shop when styling photo shoots. I found some sheer and silk curtains in this beautiful teal color. For the top section of the skirt, I cut a flat circle. Then I cut the rest of the curtains into long strips and gathered their top edge to make the 2 rows of ruffles. I also added a thin waistband to the top of the skirt, and I did not use a zipper or Velcro to fasten the skirt. Instead, I prefer to use safety pins because then I can easily and quickly adjust the skirt to fit a variety of models. For the blouse, I used an existing sewing pattern and a silk curtain. I already had a teal bedsheet, also purchased from Goodwill from another project, that I used for the top's lining. I used wide Velcro on the back so this top can easily be adjusted to fit. To make the flower wreath, I started with several brown pipe cleaners. I twisted them together to form a circular base. Then I clipped artificial flowers to the pipe cleaners. The flowers all have alligator clips hot glued to the back of them, making them super easy to use in a variety of ways. I converted the guest suite of my home to my portrait studio. The room is 11 by 15 feet, which isn't quite deep enough for photographing dancers. So I converted my living room into a temporary photo studio with a portable backdrop stand. As my key light, I used a Canon Speedlight 600EX inside a Westcott Apollo softbox. I made a cover for the softbox out of 2 layers of white fabric cut from a bedsheet. I point the flash into the softbox, which provides a soft, beautiful light. I have a second speedlight pointed at the ceiling beside where I stand when shooting. This light bounces off the white ceiling and provides a subtle amount of fill light to the front of the model. I placed a third speedlight behind my backdrop. I use a MagMod MagSphere to help spread the light on the ceiling. This showers down a soft hair light on my model. I used my Canon EOS R with a Canon 24-7 2.8 lens. I love the auto eye focus on this camera. To get movement in the skirt, I typically have an assistant, which is usually one of my teenagers, throwing the fabric off camera at the same time the shutter is pressed. But this photo shoot took place during the day and none of my teenagers were home. So I enlisted my husband to push the shutter button and assigned myself to skirt throwing. I directed Carlin with the positions I wanted, and then I threw the fabric. I like to take at least 10 shots of each throw position to ensure I'll have a good shot to work with in post. Carlin is extremely advanced on point despite being only 11, but it can still be tiring during a photo shoot to be on point for every shot. So I took a couple of really good shots of her on point and then had her do the remainder of the shots on a flat foot to avoid fatigue. Then I could combine the shots together in post. And sometimes it's a lot to ask of ballerinas to have perfect form and facial expressions in every shot, especially when they're concentrating on their extensions. So I took a few photos of Carlin's upper body where we could focus just on facial expressions and hand positions. I could then composite them with the extension photos in post. I like to import my photos into Exposure 6 for culling and organizing. I use the color tags to identify my favorites. Once I've selected my favorites, I export a JPEG copy to Photoshop for editing. I combined my favorite photos of her leg extensions, fabric throws, and upper body position and facial expression, and saved a layered Photoshop file. So even though I did my best to step out of the shots while I was throwing the skirt, I still had to do some cloning and background expansion to remove me from the shot. And this background had been stored folded, so I had some background cleanup to do as well. I added a very subtle layer filled with a teal color to the entire image before saving. Here's a progression of all the layers. Then I went back into Exposure and did my final color edits on the layered Photoshop file. I used a combination of 2 presets, Kodak Ultra Color 100 UC and Golden Hour Orange. I adjusted their balance until I got the look I was wanting. As a former ballerina myself, I love bringing my creative vision to fine art dance portraits. I had so much fun with Carlin and I love the portraits we created. I actually entered one of them to the Portrait Masters International Competition, and I am so excited to have won a silver award. If you like this video, please do me a quick favor and click the like and subscribe buttons below. Then I can keep making videos like this one to show you my behind-the-scenes process for my creative photo shoots.